So we turn now to the three special services of the Musaf Hamidah and Rosh Hashanah, Malkhuyot, verses of sovereignty, Zichronot, verses of remembrance, and Shofarot, verses that refer to the shofar. There's a particular structure to each of these services. There's an opening little liturgical poem, and then we recite verses. We will follow the opinion that says you don't need 10 verses, you need 4. So we have 4 verses that have the key word. And then tomorrow we will blow the shofar. Today we will not. We close with a closing blessing and a couple of little pieces there. I wanted to just say a brief word about Malkhuyot, which we are about to turn to in connection with what I said earlier of this bridging function of connecting and supporting. So, you know, what holds us steady in the turning gyre? In addition to the strength of our character, which I spoke about earlier, it's really the strength and depth of our connections to other people and to something higher and larger beyond us. Some might call it a purpose or a calling or meaning. Some might use the language God. The service of Malkhuyot uses the metaphor of God as king, but it is only one metaphor for the relationship between us and God. It's an important one because it emphasizes our humility, right? That's an important piece. It emphasizes our relative powerlessness relative to forces beyond us, but it's not the only metaphor. I mentioned already another one, a way of experiencing God in the world, which is God as connective tissue. And there's a poem that sort of evokes that in the Machzor on page 155. When we get to it in the margin, you'll see a poem called The Thread, which is a different way of envisioning God. And by the way, I just want to remind us that if we envision God as the connective tissue that connects all, then when we make ourselves into a bridge, that's imitatio Dei. That's a way of imitating God. That's a way of embodying God's presence in the world. And all of that is really what this section of Malkhuyot, crowning God as sovereign, is about. It's about connecting, plugging in to our purpose, our higher commitments, and our relationship with God. There's a country song that Barbra Streisand recorded. I admit I'm a huge fan of hers. And on her album called Higher Ground, there's a song, Higher Ground. And these are some of the lyrics. Walk me over this horizon. Let the sun's light warm my face. Once again, the times are changing. Once again, I've lost my way. Well, the words of ancient poets fall like dust upon my shoes. Greed has robbed me of my vision, turned my heart from higher truths. So take my hand and lift me higher. Hold me safe and honor bound. Take my heart to higher ground. That's really what Malkhuyot is about.